Hey, what is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video, my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over some NBA games for Wednesday, March 16th, 2022. I'm going to show you highlights of each side, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And I wish you guys the best of luck on all your picks today. Let's go ahead and get into the games. We're going to be looking at the Hawks versus Hornets, Sixers versus the Cavaliers, Nuggets versus Wizards, Lakers versus Timberwolves, Thunder versus the Spurs, and Raptors versus Clippers. These are the requests that I received yesterday. I will say that I did receive a couple more requests for today in NBA, but I wasn't able to get to them to put them together for this video because I was asleep, and I didn't have enough runway to get them put together for this video. But after I get done with this video, I'm going to start writing up my picks for the day, and depending on how much time that takes me, I'll probably have some time to add in those game requests that I wasn't able to get to for the video. So I still might be able to add those game requests, no worries. I just didn't have it done in time for the video. But let's go ahead and get to the games. On this side of the screen is what I call my daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. And then on this side of the screen is what I call my game numbers, numbers specific for the game. On top is the road team, the away team, their season record, their coach's record, their road record, any other notes I want to add. In the middle is the all-time head-to-head matchup between the two teams, as well as for the regular season and for this season in particular. And at the bottom is the home team, their season record, their home record, their coach's record, and any other notes that I want to add. Let's start at the top here. Okay. Let's go to the first game here, Hawks versus the Hornets. Hawks versus the Hornets. So as always, I'll start off with the home team. I'll show you some numbers why I think the home team will win, and then we'll go over some numbers why the road team could win. So in this particular game, let's start off with the Hornets, the home team. What would it look like for the Hornets to win this game? If the Hornets were going to win this game, I would think the number 41 and 34, no, just 41. 41 would be in their favor. So today has 41 date numerology on the Gregorian. If you write out 41, it sums to 35. Hawks can get their 35th loss for the season. Hornets can get their 35th win for the season. Hornets would actually become 35-35 for a season record with the win, as Hawks get their 35th loss for the season today with 41 date numerology. 41 written out sums to 35. The Hornets coach, he would sit on 179 losses regular season for his career with the win. 179 is the 41st prime number. It's the 130th all-time head-to-head matchup between these two teams. Hornets coach, he can get his 130th regular season win as a coach for the Hornets. He would sit on 159 losses today with 159 date numerology on the Hebrew civil side of the calendar. It's the 13th day of the 7th month for the Hebrew civil, like 137. Mathematically, 137 is the 33rd prime number. Hornets can get their third win in a row. Hawks can end their 3-game winning streak, kind of like 3-3-33. And today has 61 date numerology on the Gregorian as well, along with 41. 41 sums to 46. Hawks coach, he could become 61-46 for a record as a coach for the Hawks regular season with a loss. This is the Hornets coach's 289th game as a coach for the Hornets. 289 has a square root of 17. So 17 times 17 sums to 289. And the Hornets can become 17-17 at home in their coach's 289th game regular season for his career. So those would be some numbers. Also, one more thing, Hawks can get their 22nd road loss as Hornets even the score 2-2 head-to-head against the Hawks. So those would be some numbers for the Hornets to win this game. If the Hawks were going to win this game, it would be because of the number 34. It's the 34th away game for the Hawks. It's the 34th home game for the Hornets. Hornets can sit on 34 wins for the season with a loss. Hawks come into this game 34-34 for a season record, but it's their 69th game. And 69 written out sums to 139, which is the 34th prime number. And so in Hawks' 69th game, their 34th away game, they come in 34-34 for a record. 69 sums to 139, the 34th prime number. Hawks can pick up their 69th all-time head-to-head win against Hornets, as Hornets sit on 34 wins for the season in their 34th home game. Hornets coach, he would sit on 139 wins regular season for his career, 139, the 34th prime number. We also know 69 sums to 139. And Hornets coach, he would get his 160th regular season loss as a coach, specifically for the Hornets. And the number 34 written out sums to 160. Also sums to 61. Today with 61 date numerology on the Gregorian. Hornets can get their 18th loss at home. 61, the 18th prime number. Hawks would become 69-61 all-time head-to-head against Hornets. And then one last thing against the Hornets, they can get their 36th loss for the season. Today is the 75th day of the Gregorian year. 36 and 75 are identical in 3 of the 4 base ciphers. Maybe that's another hint at the number 34. But those are the numbers for this game. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Sixers versus the Cavaliers. Sixers versus the Cavaliers. Start with the home team. If the home team was going to win this game, the Cavaliers, today does have 61 date numerology on the Gregorian. If you write out the number 61, it sums to 41 and 40. Today with 41 date numerology on the Gregorian. The Sixers can sit on 41 wins for the season with a loss, as Cavaliers get their 40th win for the season. Cavaliers, this is their coach's 152nd game as a coach for the Cavs regular season. And Cavaliers coach, he can get his 152nd win for his career overall regular season. Today is the 75th day of the Gregorian. Written out 75 sums to 152. This is also the season celebrating the 75th anniversary for the NBA. So that can actually might hold some weight for the Cavs as well. The Sixers coach, he would get his 50th loss as a coach for Sixers. Today with 25 date numerology on the Gregorian, 25 written out sums to 50. Sixers coach, he would get his 731st loss regular season for his career overall, which is just an anagram, or excuse me, not an anagram, it's a reflection of the number 137. Today, the 13th day of the 7th month on the Hebrew civil side, like 137, the 33rd prime number. This is Cavaliers' 33rd home game. And the Sixers, they would get their 12th road loss, as Cavaliers become 1-2 head-to-head against the Sixers for the season, like 12. Cavaliers would sit on 29 losses for the season as they get their 109th all-time head-to-head win against the Sixers, 109, the 29th prime number. So those would be some numbers for the Cavaliers to win this game. If we would look towards the Sixers to win this game, it would be probably because of these number 30s right here. Cavaliers, they can get their 30th loss for the season, as Sixers up the series 3-0 head-to-head against the Cavaliers, like 30. And Sixers would also get their 113th regular season head-to-head win against the Cavaliers. 113 mathematically is the 30th prime number. What else here? Sixers looking to get their 42nd win for the season. I don't know if I saw anything with 42. Not in particular. Let's get 23-11. 44. Doesn't really do much for me. I mean, today does have a 25 date numerology, 25 sums to 49 and 50. Sixers coach, he can sit on 49. Instead of getting his 50th loss, he can sit on 49 losses with the win. There's not a whole lot of strength to that, but it is there. I just didn't see a whole lot for the 42-26. I know 26 sums to 42. 26 sums to 42. It also sums to 159. 159 date numerology on the Hebrew Civil. Actually, there's 42 and 159 date numerology on the Hebrew Civil. We can say Sixers can get their 42nd win as they sit on 26 losses for this season, according to the Hebrew Civil. Let's go ahead and mark that. So 42 date numerology, 159 date numerology, 26 sums to 159. Sixers could become 42-26 with the win. 116. Let's type that out. No, nothing. I don't see anything really. Yeah, not a whole lot for the Sixers one. I mean, the 30 could be straightforward, as straight as it gets. Then you can add in the 42-26. They could get their 23rd road win. 23 sums to 134. And they can get their 23rd road win as their coach gets his 1,034th win regular season for his career, which kind of looks like a 134. So we'll leave it at that for that one. Let's move on to the next one. Nuggets versus the Wizards. Nuggets versus the Wizards. Starting with the home team. If the home team was going to win this game, this is a revenge game for Wizards. They can potentially even the score 1-1 head-to-head against the Nuggets for the season. But it's their 35th home game. And Wizards could get their 30th win for the season. Or they can get their 39th loss. It connects both ways. I'll show you. The number 30 comes to 35. And the number 35 and 39 are identical in all four base ciphers, both of them summing to 61. Today with 61 date numerology on the Gregorian. 61 is the 18th prime number. Wizards can get their 30th win for the season or their 39th loss for the season in their 35th home game. Or they can get their 18th home win or their 18th home loss. So for the Wizards, it goes either way on both sides. 35th home game, they can get their 30th win. 30 sums to 35. They would get their 18th home win to go with 61, the 18th prime number. Or Wizards get their 39th loss in their 35th home game. 39, 35 are identical in all four base ciphers. And then they get their 18th home loss, 61, the 18th prime number. So these numbers don't really help us at all. If we would look towards the Nuggets, Nuggets could sit on 41 wins for the season with the loss today with 41 date numerology, 61 as well. 61 sums to 41. Nuggets would get their 16th road loss to go with. It does have 16 and 41 date numerology on the Gregorian. Nuggets can sit on 41 and get that 16th loss. There's potential there for that. Nuggets coach, he would sit on 307 wins regular season as a coach for the Nuggets with the loss. 307 is the 63rd prime number, and the number 11 sums to 63. And it could go with Wizards even in the score 1-1 head-to-head against the Nuggets like an 11 with the win. And so those would be some numbers for the Wizards. If the Nuggets were going to win, we pretty much spelled it out for the Wizards, how they can go either way, the 18, the 30, or the 39. It can go either way for them. The Wizards are on a 4-game losing streak. They could get their 5th loss in a row. If they do get their 5th loss in a row, Nuggets would get their 55th all-time head-to-head win against the Wizards to go along with the 5 pattern. Nuggets can sweep the Wizards 2-0, like 20 head-to-head against for the season. If you write out the number 20, 20 sums to 55. So they can sweep 2-0 like 20 as they get their 55th all-time head-to-head win against Wizards, as Wizards get their 5th loss in a row, a 5 pattern. The number 20 also sums to 28 and 107, the 28th prime number. And Nuggets would sit on 28 losses for the season with a win to go with the 55 and the 2020. And then you can say Wizards get their 39th loss in their 35th home game as they get their 18th home loss, 61 the 18th prime number. So this one's a little bit more trickier, but there are numbers here. Let's go on to the next one, Lakers versus Timberwolves. Lakers versus Timberwolves. Let's start with the home team, the Timberwolves. Today does have 41 date numerology on the Gregorian. Today has 61 date numerology on the Gregorian. If you write out 61, it sums to 40 and 41. Timberwolves can go from 40 to 41 wins for the season. If you write out the number 41, it sums to 35. This is Timberwolves' 35th home game, and they can get their 41st win for the season. Timberwolves can get their 23rd home win for the season as they sit on 83 regular season head-to-head losses against the Lakers, 83 the 23rd prime number, as Lakers get their 23rd road loss while getting their 40th loss for the season. Timberwolves would go from 40 to 41. Lakers would get their 40th. 61 date numerology, 61 sums to 41 and 40. And then you can say 23rd loss on the road. Sits on 83, the 23rd prime. Timberwolves get that 23rd home win. Timberwolves would get their 39th regular season head-to-head win against the Lakers to go with in their 35th home game. We know 39 and 35 are identical in all four base ciphers. Timberwolves coach, he can get his 57th win regular season for his career. 57 and 61 share some numbers together. 57 sums to 131, and 61 also sums to 131. So a 32 connection, 131 the 32nd prime. This is Lakers' 32nd road game. It is the 191st day of the Hebrew civil calendar, 191, the 43rd prime number. And Timberwolves can get their 43rd all-time head-to-head win against the Lakers to cap it off. So those would be some numbers for the Timberwolves. If the Lakers were going to win this game, today is the 75th day of the Gregorian calendar, and this is the season that's celebrating the 75th anniversary for the NBA. Lakers coach, he's sitting on 379 losses regular season for his career. 379 is the 75th prime number. And so on the 75th day in the season that's celebrating the 75th anniversary, maybe it favors Lakers coach to sit on that 379, the 75th prime number, with a win today. That could be potential there. Timberwolves would sit on 40 wins for the season instead of getting their 41st. And 61 does sum to 40 and 41. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to bounce over to 41. But at the same time, Timberwolves coach, he could become 56-56 for a regular season record with a loss. And today has 41 date numerology on the Gregorian. So 41, 56. 41 and 56 are identical in 3 of the 4 base ciphers. And so with it being 41 date numerology on the Gregorian, Timberwolves coach, he could become 56-56 with the loss. It just could be the way that happens. Timberwolves can sit on 40 wins with the loss. They would get their 13th home loss to go with. Today is the 13th day of the 13th month for the Hebrew religious. We're in a leap year for the Hebrew calendar. It's almost coming to an end. But they could get that 13th home loss to go with. And then Lakers would become 30-39. 30. That 35 connection for 41. But let's see if it has any number properties. 30-39. No. 339. Oh, one last thing here for the Lakers. It is the 122nd regular season head-to-head matchup between these two teams. Lakers could become 10-22 on the road with the win, which looks like a 122. And then Lakers would even the score 2-2, like 22 head-to-head against the Timberwolves with the win, as Timberwolves sit on 22 home wins with the loss. I can go ahead and mark that a dark blue, actually. We'll just do that, 22, 22, and 22. So those would be some numbers there for the Lakers and Timberwolves. Let's go on to the Thunder and Spurs. Thunder and Spurs, starting with the home team, the Spurs. If the Spurs are going to win this game, it could be the Hebrew Civil on their side, maybe. Today is the 13th day of the 7th month, like 137. And Spurs coach, he can get his 1,337th win regular season for his career, which looks like an extended 137 on the 13th day of the 7th month. It's the 191st day of the Hebrew Civil Year, the 13th day of the 7th month. And 191 is the 43rd prime number. Spurs considering 43 losses with the win as they get their 14th home win, 43 the 14th prime number, as their coach gets their 1,337th win regular season for his career. So that can all be a Hebrew Civil calendar connection. 13-7, 191 the 43rd prime, 43 the 14th prime, get that 14th win, 1-3-3-7. It's the Thunder's 69th game for the season. Spurs can sit on 96 all-time head-to-head losses against Thunder. 69 and 96 are just reflections of each other. And Spurs coach would sit on 696 losses to go with. So you have the 696, the 9-6 here, and it's the Thunder's 69th game. So that can go in favor for the Spurs as well. And then one last thing for the Thunder here, they can get their 49th loss for the season on a day with 25 date numerology, 25 written out sums to 49. Yeah, I think that's what I have mostly for the Spurs. If the Thunder were going to win this game, the Thunder are on a 6-game winning streak. They can extend to a 7-game winning streak. I don't know if I saw anything with the number 7. Yeah, 7 sums to 25. So today has 25 date numerology on the Gregorian, 7 sums to 25. It could play in favor for the Thunder to get their 7th win in a row, potentially. At the same time, they would get their 97th all-time head-to-head win against the Spurs. 97 is the 25th prime number. They would sit on 118 all-time head-to-head losses, 41 date numerology, 41 sums to 118. But Thunder can even the score against the Spurs 2-2, like 22, as Thunder sit on 22 road losses with a win. And then Thunder would get their 21st win for the season and their coach's 141st regular season game. If you write out the number 21, 21 sums to 141. And he would get his 43rd win regular season for his career. We already went over that number 43. Today is the 191st day, the 43rd prime number. The 43 could favor the Thunder just as much as it could favor the Spurs. And then he would become 43-98 for a record, sitting on 98 losses on a day with 41 date numerology, 41 sums to 98. And so if Thunder were to win this game, they would get their 7th win in a row. Spurs would get their 3rd loss in a row, 7-3, kind of like 73. 73 written out as the 21st prime number. And I suppose you can say that would go along with Thunder getting that 21st win for the season. Spurs would get their 44th loss for the season in the 4th and last head-to-head matchup between these two teams. So those are some numbers for that game. Let's move on to the last one here, Raptors versus the Clippers. Raptors versus the Clippers. If Clippers were going to win this game, we'll start with the home team. If Clippers were going to win, this is the 37th away game for the Raptors. This is the 35th home game for the Clippers. Clippers can just simply become 37-35 for a record with a win. It could just be as simple as that. Raptors, they would become 21-16 on the road with a loss, 21-16. 2116 has a square root of 46. And today is a day with 41 date numerology, 41 sums to 46. On top of that, we do have 16 date numerology on the Gregorian. They can get their 16th road loss as they become 21-16, which has a square root of 46. Number 31 sums to 46 as well, and Raptors would get their 31st loss for the season as they become 21-16 on the road, which has a square root of 46. On a day with 41 date numerology, 41 sums to 46. This is a revenge game for Clippers. They can even the score 1-1 head-to-head against, like an 11. And then what else? So we got the 37-35 revenge narrative, 31, 21-16 for the 46. I think that's about all I had for them. Clippers could become 21, 14 at home. One. 2-1-2. 52-24. I think it's about all I really had highlighted. I guess if we were going to bring it towards the Raptors, if the Raptors were going to win, Raptors are on a 4-game winning streak. They could get their 5th win in a row. But I guess we can say today has 41 and 61 date numerology on the Gregorian. 41 sums to 118. Raptors coach can set on 118 losses regular season with a win as Raptors get their 39th win for the season. 39 written out sums to 61. Raptors would get their 22nd road win to go with. 22 written out sums to 39. They would be getting their 39th win for the season. 39 sums to 61. 61 date numerology. Clippers would become 36-36. I guess I can mark that as a gray. They would become 36-36 for a season record with a loss. Today is the 75th day of the Gregorian. 75, I've already shown you guys this, and 36. 75 and 36 are identical in 3 of the 4 base ciphers. So that could play against the Clippers. And one of the numbers that it sums to, 75 sums to 55, 36 sums to 55. The number 20 sums to 55 as well. And Clippers would become 36-36 as they sit on 20 home wins with the loss. That could be potential there. And then what would happen is the Raptors would sweep 2-0 head-to-head against the Clippers like 20 as they sit on 20 home wins. And then Clippers coach, he would get a 61st loss regular season as a coach for Clippers on a day with 61 date numerology. He would get his 144th loss regular season for his career and his 144th regular season game as a coach for Clippers. So I'd probably chalk that up as the numbers for that game. Let me turn on my background light here to close it out. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys watching this video. I appreciate the support. I appreciate your patience. This might be a little bit of a longer video. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it gives you some insight to the games, gets you started, adds to what you already have. And like I said in the beginning, I had a couple more NBA requests that I just wasn't able to prepare in time for the video. But depending on how much time and runway I have, after completing these and typing these out, I might go ahead and add those picks as well. So I might have more than 6 picks tonight. I might have 7 or 8, just depending on how much time I have to get those last requests done. Keep sending me requests. I really appreciate it. Just send me the games that you want me to do, and I'll do my best to get to them. Just give me a 24-hour heads up notice. That way it gives me plenty of runway to type them out, look them over, potentially get them prepared for a video like this and things like that. So I wish you guys the best of luck on your picks. Hopefully you win all the money in the world. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. And I will see you guys in the next video.